Welcome back to Great Day Hope after Harvey. Anytime you see the level of devastation that we saw after Harvey, it's hard to see at first, but the good news is it can open the door for opportunity and a chance for our city to grow even more economically. Joining us now is John Beddow, a business consultant. He was also the head of Houston Business Journal for many years.
Good to see you.
It is hard to see at first, but then we realize we've opened up some markets here in order to bring our city back to where it was, or even better.
Well, one thing you got to remember, there's 1 million more people living in Houston than when Ike hit. So that's a lot more. There's a lot more people out there that are being affected by this than you might think. But the free enterprise system is what's leading the recovery. If you look at all the companies that have donated money, and these are companies we know about. There's some companies that like to donate anonymously, because of the way they are. But look at Gallery Furniture, what they did.
Amazing.
And then look at Walmart, they gave money, and the list goes on and on and on. So the recovery is being led by business. And I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. There was a friend of mine the other day who she called me and she goes, I feel really guilty.
Yeah.
I said, what are you feeling guilty about? She goes, I just want to go get my nails done. And she goes, people are dealing with such a tough situation. She goes, I feel bad about going to get my nails done. But when it's all said and done, sometimes we forget. You getting your nails done or whatever it was, if you're able to do in your normal life, feed somebody else.
That's right, and it's the thing about the free enterprise system is money spent matriculates onto other companies and other things. So it's like a chain reaction. So the sooner we get back to that, the better off we're going to be. Now the problem is a lot of the money is going to be spent now on construction companies and buying carpet and things like that before you ever get into the home furniture. I mean, to get into clothing and accessories and things like that.
Yeah.
So some of the money is going to be positive hit right away. Others will be down the road.
But with that said, the construction industry and what it does to improve and change the real estate market. Now, the concern is you have people who may have had a house that was built in 1968 and they haven't updated it since then. And in key neighborhoods, it's going to be updated to 2017, and they're still looking at this, but there's going to be a property tax difference there.
Yeah, I know, and the property taxes will go up because of that, and that's the way the market dictates it. But right now you got the mayor who wants to increase the property taxes over top of that. And I think the consumer should be left alone. The taxpayer should be left alone if we're going to have the quick recovery we all want to have here.
Yeah. All right.
And
so
the
construction
more money
industry,
the consumer has, the better off everybody is at this point.
The construction industry is one area that we can see some positive growth in. The other, of course, is the automotive industry.
Oh, that's right.
People need cars.
Yeah, need cars. A lot of them are, once you get a little bit of water on the engine or something like that, the car's done. So there's going to be a big boom in the auto retail trade here for a while.
And another area, of course, is the rental market. At one point, I mean, every corner you turn, there was like this massive apartment complexes and high-level living and these the apartment complexes, and a lot of them were empty. But now people needing that secondary home because their house is flooded, that's another market that's kind of opened up.
Well, there's a lot of homes that are totally out of commission right now. Those people have to go somewhere. So you might say it was good that they overbuilt the apartment buildings, because before this, everybody was talking about all these apartments going up and who's going to live in them.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens there's going to be a lot of people living in them because their homes are destroyed.
Yeah. Traditionally, Houston has kind of set above other cities in terms of how we do this because we have, the right industries here, the medical community, the energy community. But how were we before Harvey, and how do you see us trending in the coming years?
Well, I don't think you're going to see any new industries. I think you're going to see companies that are going to need their customers back. And I think whether it's the motivation for this public giving or not, I think some of the motivation was to let their customers know, hey, we're alive and well, we're affected by the flood just like you are, but we're here for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Okay, so not maybe this what's going to happen with the construction, all that type of stuff, a short little burst.
I think it's going to be longer than that.
A longer burst? Okay. Yeah, just in the scheme of things,
you look
in
at
terms
what
of how your
happened out
economy
west.
goes, we can't depend on that for the next
look what happened
years.
out west with those two reservoirs flooding.
Right.
And, I mean, those houses are gone completely.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of construction going on here.
Yeah. All right. And then how Houston kind of sits compared to the rest of the country?
Well, Houston, I think technologically sits very well as far as the rest of the country. My top client, for example, a company called Phonoscope, we have 400,000 cable miles going all the way from the Woodlands down to Galveston, and they're constantly innovating. And Phonoscope's not the only company that innovates. And it's amazing the laws of nature that apply to the mindset of a CEO that knows they have to change the direction of their company and how they're going to do it. That's why they're CEOs, they're leaders, and they know how to anticipate change and get out in front of it. You're going to see a lot of that here.
You mentioned 1 million more people moved here since Ike. What brought them here? And if you were selling Houston to the rest of the country, especially after what happened, what would you sell to them?
Well, the basics are still here. There's no state income tax here. So even if you're making the same amount of money when you move here, you get a 7% raise, 6-7% raise. And it's a welcoming community. There's no zoning here, so you might say well, we got to have zoning. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe the market does a better job of dictating where things go as far as that's concerned, as far as the zoning commissioner behind a closed door. With dials and levers. So it's a more welcoming town, but it's welcoming in an economic way with the lower cost of living. And now the cost of living is probably going to go up because there's going to be a lot of demand, and the demand curve always has a way of making the prices go up.
Yeah, and so I asked that question because there are people who are concerned about what all that attention does to us, but keeping in mind that this is a thing that's probably a, fingers crossed, once in a lifetime situation at this level.
Well, another thing, if your house didn't flood, it's going to go up in value.
Yeah. All right, tell me about the whole property tax thing. I moved here, or the income tax thing. I moved here from New York City, from Manhattan. So I'll take my property taxes over my income tax and state tax and city tax any day. All right, John, thank you very much.
Well, it's nice to be here. Nice to see you again.
We'll be right back.
Okay.